Mark Fetting, and I am a business advocate, having spent my career in the investment management business at T. Rowe Price, at Prudential, and at Legg Mason, where I served as chairman and CEO. But I've also spent a good chunk of my career as a community advocate. And I've enjoyed being a trustee. This is my second tour, and it's just a pleasure. So here we are, Tom, in the Hall of Fame of donors. And I wonder, before we get into, go off script a little bit, and highlight a couple of the wonderful and substantial leaders that are
Sure.
portrayed here.
Well, let me start right over here with Clementine Peterson, who was the first woman on the BCF board and the first member of the first woman member of the BCF grant-making committee. She started endowments for nonprofits around Baltimore, giving them the permanent tools to be able to thrive and ensuring that if they didn't survive, that the endowments would stay here to serve a larger purpose in perpetuity. One can't talk about philanthropy in Baltimore without talking about Eddie and Sylvia Brown. I came to BCF in no small part because I recognized Eddie from Wall Street Week and knew something about him and studied more, and BCF made the smart decision of having both Eddie and Freeman Hrabowski call me during the recruitment period, and that was that was pretty persuasive. And certainly the most humbling experience of my life has been serving as a trustee of their family foundation for the last 17 years. Eddie actually had me go around and accept gifts on his behalf, and accept awards on his behalf when he wasn't free. And I would explain that I was the twin separated at birth, and that sadly he got the looks and the brains. I got to be his double elsewhere, and this has been a hard life to lead. What Eddie has done with the Turning the Corner program, what the two of them have done together, from institutions that range from Micah to the Pratt Library to you name it, is just remarkable, and really helped BCF get to the next level. In the corner is a woman named Mary Ruff Brush, who owned the Broadview Apartments for many years and was the first woman head of a major Baltimore real estate firm, and she was as tough a cookie as I've ever known. And she said, "Mr. Wilcox, I want this and I want that," but the biggest heart ever. She made it very clear to me that if some money were to come our way, that she wanted it for some very strong opportunities for people to be able to change their lot in life. And the good news is that when she died, she left us $8 million. So that's a lot of money that actually the Education Committee, chaired by you, gets to use to make a difference in Baltimore. A lot of things I cited earlier were made possible by that. Next to Ms. Brush is William Donald Schaefer, the inscrutable. He told us we had to get things done. He came around and looked at our neighborhood grants program and saw that it was akin to what he had done with what he called his civic leadership fund, the William Donald Schaefer Civic Fund, in which he would go to neighborhoods and ask them what they wanted, and then he would get private dollars there the next day, so he didn't have to bother with all the Board of Estimates, etc. It was a fabulous day when he told us that, first of all, while he was living, he gave us all this unused campaign funds and a lot of his other money. Then when he died, it ultimately came to $2.5 million. So we get things done on behalf of Mayor Governor Schaefer on an ongoing basis. We're not very patient with patient people here. We're impatient.
I can feel him being very proud of what you're saying.
I think
we need to adhere to that.
I think
he
would be.
Can reach down and
Absolutely.
shake us if we're not. Right?
Absolutely, no, and I'm seen as a relentless jerk by a lot of people, but it's whatever I got from the Governor Schaefer when he and I privileged to know each other. Next to the governor is Jackie and Freeman Hrabowski, who are obviously the greatest set of leaders Baltimore has ever had. And Freeman actually allows me to say this. Part of our recent capital campaign included a $1 million unrestricted planned gift from the two of them to the Baltimore Community Foundation. I can't think of a stronger endorsement than to have somebody who is as brilliant, as discerning, as just overall brilliant as the two of them make that kind of commitment. And he's served on the board for a very long time and is always available. He was willing to even to lower himself and his reputation and say nice things about me in the recent announcement about my own departure. So I'm also personally grateful to Freeman for that. Bob and Rita Levy, very important figures in the establishment of the Baltimore Community Foundation. Bob was, as the Jewish head of a blue blood bank, able to cross a lot of barriers and do a lot of things. And he literally could go in areas and know people that nobody else had ever known before. And along the way, he realized that other cities had community foundations that were by then about 60 years old and had hundreds of millions of dollars in assets, and there was no community foundation in Baltimore in the early 70s. And he said, what Baltimore needs is an organization that knows no color line, no religious line, no political line. An organization that can take a bird's eye view of the needs of Baltimore and bring people together to generate the resources to address its challenges and take it forward. And what Baltimore needed was a community foundation. That was his quote. Something very close to that is what he said. And so in many ways, when he brought the banking community together, he was serving as a precursor for all of our work right now, be it in race equity and inclusion or anything else.